gotta get our openings in here. But yeah, I was overthinking this. All the money I transferred is used to cover the maintenance expenses for the past month. There's a very obvious problem here. He transferred 25,000, but the expenses he recorded were 15,000. Objection. Smack. Sorry, Bill, but we already know all about all of your expenses for the past month, including maintenance. And those used this month is far below the missing 25,000 alms. How do you know that? I found the orphanage's ledger when I was searching your room. Hey, I never said you could look at that. Slight. Detective, I shouldn't have to tell you this, but you can't use evidence that was obtained illegally. On the contrary, Bill told us directly that we could search his room. I should have to tell you this, Ferris, but you don't need a warrant when consent is given. Is this true, Bill? I didn't think they would. This is why you consulted me first before you talked to them. No matter how we got it, the money couldn't be used to cover maintenance costs. There's a good reason for that. I gave the money directly to Meg. Money reimbursed her for the parts and labor she did. It doesn't make any sense. Something isn't adding up here. See, this is where, like, I'm starting to see the vision here. This is the third case in a row here, where we have the underlying core of the big billionaire elites, the Eubank investments, the Eubank family, who are very clearly up to no good, but their machinations, they are very clearly untouchable almost, and each case is still coming down to, like, the people struggling in their means, getting caught up in shit and doing, objectively, the crimes we're investigating and having to punish them for. Wow, the rich and the elites, who we're really suspicious of and we thoroughly have nothing but disdain for, just sort of sit up on their high horses and just are scoffing at. Like, just, I feel like it most directly hit that point with Anton sitting there and going, I know who BG Turtles is. I know who BG Turtles is, and I'll tell you, it's Bill. Big Bill Hell's kids. And it's like, it's a lot is kind of clicking here. It's all kind of circling back to the car incident, isn't it? Like, it's going to come down to Bill dipping into the orphanage fund, doing a bit of shady accounting to try and cover up what happened with his car, and the police investigation that went nowhere because none of them wanted to punish Meg for what happened. Bill probably knows it was an honest mistake. Bill probably knew it was an honest mistake on Meg's part, and just is actively trying to protect his kids. And as such, did a little bit of shading accounting, which we're working our way through exposing here. Like, that's the piece that's missing. It's circling back to the car incident, which is where this case started. Any ideas, detective? I think he's telling the truth. Somewhat. I think the real question we should be asking is there some other reason Bill would be giving Meg money directly? Do I have evidence like that? Another reason Bill would be paying Meg money? That must be Big Bill Hell's car. Does work here? Bill's Meg's working on the car. Some more direct piece of evidence here. Objection. Or take that. Sorry, I got my thing wrong. As it turns out, I know exactly why you were paying Meg money. She's been fixing your car for the past month. You had to pay her for the work she did. Well, that's quite the claim. But my client has insurance. Why on earth would he need the charity money to make those repairs? Ha! That's easy. Let me show you. This is why Bill needed money from the charity to repair his car. Take that. Inside Bill's office, I found a letter from his insurance company. They disputed the damage on his car and denied his claim. Smack. I doubt Bill had the money on hand to pay for the repairs, especially with his meager salary. Therefore, I think you stole the charity money in order to pay for your repairs. Slam. Now hold on a second. My client did not even steal a single alm of that money. Even if what you're saying is true, so what? Objectively, she has a point. His usage of the money was perfectly fine, as I will explain to you now. Like, weirdly... weirdly kind of respect Ferris for a very thorough and heartfelt defense of people she works with. Rebuttal, an ironclad defense. I'll concede you one thing. My client did, in fact, repair his car with that money. However, that car was just as much the orphanage's car as his own. I used that car for everything. Without it, I'd be screwed. Consider the car repair a maintenance expense, and so he had some of the charity money transferred to cover it. You'll find that it was perfectly above board. Now let my client go. Why'd you not tell us this from the start? If Annie didn't open her mouth, he might have explained it. I'm just trying to help. If he really needed the money, why would he use a secret shell company? Think about it from that angle, there must be a reason. Hold it. Nope, that's the wrong button. Hold it. Why'd you not tell us any of this sooner? I considered it a maintenance expense. It was, after all, maintenance on my car. It really did have a lot of storm damage. That's why I had to have the money transferred from PG Turtles. Simply didn't have enough funds to repair all of that and my car. If your insurance did cover the repairs, would you have set up PG Turtles? Of course not. I'd have no need for the money. Ironically, I almost got tricked into workers' compensation insurance while making it. What do you mean? Our country requires all businesses that hire full-time or part-time employees to have insurance in case of on-site accidents. Bill is saying that he almost paid for it, despite BG Turtles not having any employees. You should know this, Justy. Did you not read all the paperwork that you signed before you started working here? No, I was just excited to have a job. No, I just signed my soul away. Bill must have been really determined to go through all that. Hold it. How so? How do you think I pick up groceries and supplies for the children? How do you think I carry them around wherever they need to go? Wherever they need to go? Doctor's appointments, sports games, dental visits? That car is absolutely vital to the orphanage. I suppose that makes sense. Continue. Hold it. What about public transportation? You don't really need a car to get around the city. Please, the public transportation here sucks. It's too unreliable. Smack. What's wrong with our public transit? Our bus system is great. If you miss a bus, you have to wait half an hour for another. The bus breaks down, then what? Simply out of luck and have to walk. Prefer only depending on my own drive rather than leaving it to the wheels of fate. Well, he was right. I was late to my high school a few times because of the bus. Hold it. Was this plan really the only way to fix her car? It was the only method I could think of. The other option would take too long or be impossible. Simply had no choice. When you lack the means to pay for yourself, you're willing to try everything. Anything implies both legal and illegal. Anything implies both. When you lack the means to pay for yourself, you're willing to try anything. Anything implies both legal and illegal. I wonder. Hold it. Nothing about this whole affair seems above board to me. I don't think Chandra would risk her job over some perfectly legal transaction. Who's Chandra? She's the former maid of the Eubank estate. She's the one who found out that the money was being sent to BG Turtles. She was fired for her actions, you know? I didn't know this would happen. If she really thought something was wrong, she should have told us herself. Her actions say more about her character than yours. I think he really feels bad about it. He's a good man who just... Like, so far, all the people who were getting... going down for these crimes are good people doing objectively bad things out of desperation. Maintenance expense and some of the charity money transferred to cover it. Alright. How do we disprove this? You had no choice. Let me pay for yourself. Willing to try anything? Or is this whole break thing gonna be... Is this whole break thing gonna be an attempted insurance scam, and that's why the insurance rejected his claim? Well, how cruel would that be, if that was the end here? He's a secret shell company. Sorry to say, but that's a lie. Smack. Alright. Dude. Is that all? What do you mean, is that all? Okay, thanks. Sorry, I disappointed you. Need to think about what angle we're taking here. I think I see the goal we're getting at here. Like, and we had... I see what we're going for. I'm not 100% sure how to get there. Like, we had Sophie was still a little suspicious about Meg screwing up the brakes on Bill's car. Still have this whole shenanigan too. Oh, golly. Why Shell Company? Why Shell Company and why the desperation? False. Smack. What is a secret shell company? Okay. So, this still raises a question here. I think this is the point where, yeah, passed every audit, but BG Turtles has not come up, and this is, yeah, objection, smack. Ferris, it seems like you forgot what you told us earlier today. The charity money can only be used on anything directly related to the orphanage. It also cannot benefit someone at either the charity or the orphanage directly. His car belongs to him, not the Klaus orphanage. That directly violates the national charity standards. I mean, her explanation is kind of viable. Let's be real. Real person BG, but yeah, like, her explanation is viable under normal circumstances, but at the same time, you can definitely see the problem with this. Why the shell company? Real purpose of BG Turtles was to hide the money so he wouldn't get caught in his next audit. I can't believe you, Bill. That money was raised for the kids, not your car. You win. I give up. Eris, you did your best to help me. Thank you. There was nothing wrong with what I did. I use my car every day for those kids. Yeah, like the explanation tracks, so why... Why the subterfuge? That's the question that needs to be answered here the most. Your reasoning is sound, but the subterfuge is there for a reason. When Vina was sick, I took her directly to the hospital in my car. And Lloyd wanted to visit his father and he missed the bus. I drove him in my car. But the car was just as important to this orphanage as you and me. The government would never see it that way. This was the only way. Ferris, you knew this, didn't you? I did what was best for my client. I've known him for years. He would have given an arm and a leg for those kids. If he says it was necessary, I believe him. That's why you defended him. He was a good man. I don't want his reputation ruined. Annie, you agree, right? Annie? I did before coming in here. It was wrong. I'm not going to defend his character anymore. Annie? No, she's right. It was wrong. But how I spin it, this was all done to fix my car. If Swift, I'm sorry for lying. Let me at least give my full confession. I think we skipped towards step 8, but if you're sure, the room is yours. Which means we still get to cross-examine you. The full truth. Confess, I had Anton send the 25,000 alms to my own company, BG Turtles. By doing so, I was able to circumvent the law and avoid an audit. I swear that may have been my car, but it's the unsung hero of the orphanage. If that kid hadn't loosened the brakes on your car, we wouldn't be in this mess at all. Guess the gods work in mysterious ways. Guess we're finished here, right? Not so fast, Justy. Don't forget, we're not just after the embezzlement case. Go over that confession again. I swear I heard something weird in there. It's almost like I'm the detective here. Still, she seems quite certain of it. Hold it. Why did Anton agree to the transfer? I don't know. I came up with this massive plan to convince him and he just agreed. That's suspicious. I just counted myself lucky. Have you worked with Anton at all before he took over the charity? No. I only met him this year when Mr. Eubank stepped down. No further questions. Carry on. Did she figure out something? Yeah, Anton's up to something. What's very curious is that it almost feels like Anton and Ledger are the scummy ones here. And the Eubanks are still eat the rich. Except for Fee. Fee has done nothing wrong in her life ever. The Eubanks are alright. Ferris is curious. Ferris is a good lawyer, I will say that. She's a good lawyer. Hold him. Ferris, what would have happened if he got caught in the audit? It would be a breach of fiduciary duty, and Eubank Investments would pursue legal action. We would demand that all compensatory damages be recovered and demand his resignation as trustee. Come again? She means he would have been broken their trust and she would have want their money back. Come on, Justy, you should at least know basic civil law terminology. I'm a clerk, not a lawyer or a detective. I went to college for art, not law. Clearly my knowledge on color theory isn't going to help here. Hold it. You mentioned some examples earlier, but is a single car that important? When Vina got sick, if I didn't have my car, it would have taken an extra 30 minutes to get there. That is true and true. Real and true. "30 minutes of waiting and wondering if she was ever going to recover. Surely she would have recovered. I take the health of the kids very seriously. 30 minutes makes a big difference. She was very ill. Those extra 30 minutes seem small to us, but to a kid it feels like forever. It's not just that. Do you have any groceries it takes to feed an entire orphanage? They can't just haul that on the bus." Yeah, like, you're not door dashing a Costco run on a bus or a bike. That ain't happening. I think that answers our question. Thank you, Bill. Hold it. That kid. You mean Fry, right? Yeah, that's the one. But Fry didn't touch the brakes. He left too early for that. Hold on, Annie. Why do you think they went after the brakes? How would I know? I never met the kid. I see. What's she thinking? Hold it. Smack. Don't bring the gods into this. The gods must be crazy. This is the work of a person, not a god. It was divine force. How else would you explain it? Oh, eye roll. Eye roll. We might have seen that before, but the fucking eye roll is so good. By that logic, why else are we here? Unlike us, Annie's a red locust follower. Thinks the gods interfere with us by divine intervention. Divine intervention, my foot. We are created to live our lives in our way. The gods don't toy with us in attempted murder. How will we save the religious debate until after we finish? Right, sorry. Alright. Objection. Smack. Annie, why are you saying the brakes were loosened? Eh? Everyone knows the brakes were the reason for the crash. Nobody ever reported how the brakes failed. In fact, Meg told the police recently she had damaged the brake pad. So why did you say the brakes were loosened? What were you up to? What were you up to? Well, I just guessed. I don't think that was the case at all. In fact, the brakes were loosened. Oh, that's what you were looking into. Okay, what did I say? What did I say before? Okay, this is going in a different direction. I'm happy with this. Yeah. After that confession Bill just gave, it's definitely not a matter of. What are we thinking here? Insurance fraud. Wait, they were? Remember when I said the brake incident was bothering me? I looked back over the car with Meg and discovered that the brakes were loose. No one told me this. Are you saying Meg didn't cause the car crash? I don't think she did. The brake pad was damaged in the crash, but someone else clearly intended to cause the accident. Detective, you don't really think... Bill, we can finalize your confession later. Any card. You're hereby under arrest for the attempted murder of Bill Klaus. You don't have to speak to us, and you're free to have a lawyer present during our questions. By this time, you're not free to leave. You are being detained. Guess I have a phone call to go make. Well. I shouldn't have any need for the evidence related to the embezzlement anymore. Consolidate my evidence to just the accident case. Hey! Oi, good work, you two. A couple of first-timers, you did well. Excuse you, but I'm a third-timer. But really, Sophie deserves the credit. Without her, we'd have gotten nowhere. Girl is sharp, she knows her brakes. Oh, please, you were the one slamming the table. You were the one slamming the table, I just helped out. You're good, I like you. I like working with Sophie. She's cool. And Sophie and Justy are very cool. Guess you want your case back, Red? Much as I would love to jump back in, it's not my case. The car crash was always yours, Sophie. Go finish what you started. I can't do that. The case would have gone cold if not for you. You deserve this. Listen, Sophie, you need to learn that not every case you work on will be solved. Sometimes the evidence is destroyed. Sometimes a lawyer will have it thrown out. In those cases, you just have to accept that life won't always have the answers. When there's a chance to try again, take it. You might never get that chance again. And honestly, this is a good outcome for you too, Ernest, because your friend is ostensibly still the guy you knew. Objectively doing a questionable accounting activity in the name of getting his car up and running to help the kids in the orphanage. Objectively good. Objectively good. Thank you, Ernest. Well, one case down, one more to go. Mind if I cut in? Detective Swift, I'd like to stay. She really is the suspect. I want to give my side of the story. Certainly, whatever you can give. Thank you, Detective. And Ernest. You're the biggest idiot I know, Bill. Detective? But I know you don't have an evil bone in your body. We can talk later. But now we have to wait for Annie's lawyer. Annie's lawyer? I'm taking over Annie's. Alright. I mean, friend of the Eubanks, I guess. Alright, you get the Eubank discount. You are? It's for the good of Eubank Investments. I'll need a moment to speak with her before the interrogation. This is going to be tricky. Bill, can you think of any reason Annie might try to harm you? Of course not. We've worked together for years. Besides, I was with her the whole day. She never had a chance to mess with my car. Is that so? Well, good luck, you two. You'll need it. Thanks. Gosh, how does anyone expect me to solve 2 cases in one day? Yeah, the Annie twist is not the direction I was expecting. So you got me there. But Sophie, please. Dearly beloved, we have gathered here today to... sorry, wrong page. Why are wedding vows in your handbook? Miss Card, after you explained earlier, you are being held under arrest for aggravated assault and attempted murder. Sophie, please. Is that also part of the police interrogation procedure handbook, officiating weddings? What do you have to say for yourself? My client denies any wrongdoing. After all, I think you are forgetting one important detail. You had a suspect the whole time, frying oil. I was wondering about that. Bill, did you see anyone running away from the garage before you started driving? Well, no. Annie was the one who saw them. I did, and I can explain it. Alright. First trick, a suspect from nowhere. That day I was in a meeting in my office with Bill until around 1:50 p.m. I was the first one to leave, and that's when I saw that kid running for the property. Time I didn't know why he was there. He must have been there that day to sabotage the brakes. Oh yeah, he confessed to it too, didn't he? Any ideas, Detective? It's clear they want to pin this crime on Fry. So our angle of attack should be to unravel Annie's trick. Right. Way to unravel Annie's trick. It's true Fry was there that day, but Annie must have set this up. I mean, there's bound to be an issue with her statement. Hold it. Can you tell me your whereabouts before the meeting? In my office, practicing my magic tricks. The meeting started at 1:30 p.m. Do you have anyone who could confirm this? I guess not. Then we'll have to take your word with a hefty grain of salt. Meg was working on the car up until just before the accident. The brakes couldn't have been loosened before the meeting. I was the first one to leave, and that's when I saw that kid. Oh, yeah, I read this already. Hold it. You were the first to leave. I thought it was your office. Well, yeah, but I had some other stuff around the property that needed done. And what were you doing during that time, Bill? Well, I was trying to hurry out, but I had to collect my things first. That makes sense. Continue. Hold it. Why didn't you stop him? I figured it might be just a friend of one of the kids. Meg also has people running around a lot. I didn't see a reason to. Only considered it suspicious after the accident. Fair enough, let's move on. Hold it. You see him around the car at any point? I mean, not directly, but he was running away from the garage. Then how are you certain he did it? I mean, who else could it have been? Besides, there's not much other reason for him to be running away like that. Pretty suspicious if you ask me. The only thing suspicious here is your story. Hold it. While it's true that Fry claimed to have caused the accident, he later confirmed to us that he had no involvement. He only took credit because he thought it made him look cool. Have you ever heard of the expression, the simplest explanation is the most likely? It's clear that upon learning of the potential consequences of his action, he decided to rescind his confession. It stands he has both the motive and the opportunity to commit this crime. What was his motive? And he's an upstanding citizen, and she hasn't been arrested once in her life. So who are you going to believe? A known criminal? A woman trusted by all who know her? Eye roll. Quite the speech, but not an ounce of it is the truth. I know for a fact Fry didn't commit this crime, and I'll prove it to both of them. And there that day to sabotage the brakes. 150. So what do we know about Noyle's statement? We have the oh, this is really... False. Smack. Sorry, Annie, but you're out of luck now. This evidence will prove you're deceit once and for all. Smug emoji. And voila, your argument disappears. Hey! You can't perform magic tricks on my arguments. You're right, she can't. Because there was never one to begin with. Ooh, sick. Really, detective. Maybe you should have your assistant step outside. She's wasting everyone's time. She's just warming up her throat muscles. Right, Justy? Jeez, guys, way to make me feel good about myself. Guess I better think of something else. I love how Sophie's got our back. Alright, Bill. Bill. Now what? Oh, the other brakes are not actually... Meg's car's still here. What else do we have here? House card. Unpaid rent. Oh, that's between Annie and Bill. Unpaid rent. Rope box. That is very curious. I'd be very curious to know what the hell this is all about. That also reframes this. She didn't have any brakes I could use. Resuming here, because I wonder... Okay, we can resume this here. Smack! Actually, Annie, we already know why Fry was at the orphanage that day. I got a love letter, supposedly from Meg, who invited him to the orphanage at a very specific time. 1:50 p.m., which just so happened to be right around when you claimed to have seen him. However, Meg never wrote this letter. It was a fake. Someone else wrote this letter and sent it to Fry. Someone who's familiar with Meg's life. Someone at the orphanage. Why on earth would someone forge a love letter? You're grasping at straws here. Simple, that's because someone wanted him to fall in love. Obviously someone would have pinned the crime on Fry. Someone who knew they'd see him at that exact time. The only person who could have forged that letter. The only person who claims to have seen Mr. Noyle fleeing the scene. Was you, Annie Card? You sure do love your wild stories, but it's just that, a story. Don't get me wrong, you spun quite the narrative. It's all circumstantial. Do you have anything actually concrete connecting my client to that letter? She's right! I know Annie wrote that letter, but I have no way of proving it. Unfortunately, that letter was typed, so we can't do a handwriting analysis. You see, Annie, they don't have anything on you. You'll be out of here soon. Besides, my client never went anywhere near the garage that day. That's right. I was in my office the whole day. Bill was there with me. He can attest to it. She's right. We had meetings all day while the kids were at school. And let's start from the beginning. What were the meetings about? Anton Chambers came to visit us in the morning. The three of us spoke about the future of the Klaus orphanage. Anton arrived around 12:30 and Bill arrived around 1. But it's simply he was hoping I would move locations. At the time I told him that moving was not negotiable. Left right around the same time I did, because, as we know, Anton wants this to build high-rise condos for the rich and gaudy and fucked up. Move the Klaus orphanage? That was never brought up until now. I should keep that in mind. I can ask him about it later. But Anton brought it up. Anton necessarily didn't frame it as move the Klaus orphanage because he wasn't talking directly to Bill. Anton framed it as I want your land for its value for high-paying apartments and oh wait, I should be using the I want your land for its value in high-rise apartments and nonsense. Let's see, when a suspect claims to have an alibi, press them until it breaks. You know that the brakes had to have been tampered with during Meg's break between 11:45 and 2. Miss Card, please give us your statement as to your whereabouts during that time period. Annie Card's second trick. Annie Card's mundane meeting. I never left my office until after the meeting had ended. Anton and Bill were there too, so they can confirm that. The meeting itself. All we did was talk business. Nothing unusual happened. There's never a moment where those two weren't watching me. Any thoughts, Detective? If Annie tampered with the brakes, she had to have left during the meeting. Meg was around before the break, and she wouldn't have had time after the meeting. Nothing must have happened during that meeting she's hiding, and that's our clue. Good luck, Justy. You got this. Thanks. All right. Oh, I know where this is going immediately. This is going to be easy. Easy. Hold it. It's a little pressed, though. You never stepped out of the office at all. Not even for a break. Nope. I didn't take a break until afterwards. Telling me you had meetings all day long, and you never even left for the bathroom. Trick the trade, so to say. I roll. Whatever, I don't think pressing her on this will do any good. Hold it. Bill, can you verify Annie was in the room the whole time? Yeah, we were there with her the whole time. Not unless she managed to clone herself. Detective, maybe we should confirm with Anton. Why do you need him to tell you the same thing twice? Bill saw her the entire time. That's all that matters. Smack. But he already lied to us once. He's an unreliable witness. Hey, I'm right here. I don't think Bill has a reason to lie to us about this. I'm sure there's a more solid path elsewhere. Hold it. That's pretty vague. Can you clarify what counts as usual? All we discussed was the future of the orphanage and our partnership. Like I said, we spent the whole time talking. Nothing else noteworthy happened. This is where we press. Unless something other than talking happened, my client just had a standard meeting. I'll keep that in mind. Continue. Hold it. Like 3 or 4, smack. I doubt they spent the whole time staring at you. Maybe you distracted them and you slipped out. Or maybe here, because this would be the opening that the magic trick would give. How long do you think it would take to sneak into the garage and sabotage the brakes in Bill's car? I guarantee you it would take long enough for someone to notice she was gone. And how about you stop wasting our time and move on? She's ruthless today. We'll try presenting this here. Objection. Smack. Nothing unusual happened. That's weird. Because that's not at all what you told us earlier. Earlier today, you told us about your meeting with Bill. It just so happens you told us about a certain event that happened during it. Namely, you said you showed off your new magic trick. Doesn't sound like business to me. I always perform my magic tricks during meetings. Yes, it's here on my meeting agendas. It's on my Outlook calendar. I just consider that part of business. She wanted to show us a rope trick before our meeting ended. I protested, but Anton was interested. What kind of rope trick? It's pretty simple. Remember, the audience would tie my hands with rope? Walk inside a cabinet, and a moment later, I would walk out with the rope undone. Aha! Nobody saw you after you entered the cabinet. Could have snuck out then. Slam. You can't be serious. They would have seen her if she just walked out of it. She was in there for a bit, but she was clearly struggling to do her trick. After all, she kind of failed at it. It's true. I couldn't get the ropes off, so I had to give up. I still had my hands tied when I came back out. That's what I get for not practicing enough. Wait, what? Bill, is that true? Yeah, I tied her up myself and Anton confirmed it was tight. When she got out, she still had her hands tied. Anton had to cut it to free her. It was pretty tight too, so he had to cut it pretty short. Knife! Is that the rope box that she stole? Et voila, your case crumbles once again. For the entire length of the meeting, my client was either watched by two witnesses, or she was inside of a box with her hands tied. So you see, there was no possible way that my client could be guilty. Detective, I demand you release my client immediately. No way! It can't end like this. Hold on, let me check Red's notes. A cabinet, do you mean the one near the door? Yeah, that's the one. It's used a lot for a lot of tricks. I see. In that case, I'd like to hear a little bit more about the trick itself. Is that really necessary? This is my interrogation, and I will conduct it as I see fit. Now, Annie, if you don't mind, I'll give you the basic rundown, but remember, a magician never reveals her secrets. Third trick, Maggie Sean's extraordinary escape. Oh boy. As part of my trick, my hands are to be bound tightly before I enter the empty box alone. The audience then watches the box closely, but the switch is sealed shut and locked. Letting inside the box and no other means of escape. But voila! A few moments later, Maggie Sean appears, having escaped her bindings. Well, that's what was supposed to happen. I couldn't get out of the rope. Annie's our culprit. She must have escaped somehow. Detective, you don't think it's possible for people to teleport, do you? You aren't really considering that, right, Justy? Oh no, how else did she sabotage the brakes? You're really committed to proving my client's guilty, even when all the evidence suggests otherwise. No matter. However you try to weasel and squirm, you cannot change the facts. And the fact is, you're out of luck. I think I want to go back to paperwork now. Hold it. How does the audience know your hands are really tied? Maybe you just pretended to have them tied. That's why Anton had to tie her up. In case you've forgotten, Bill himself tied the rope and Anton confirmed as much. Right. That way. It would be impossible for her to fake that. Well, maybe the trick is that she never really entered the box. She just made them think she had... Justy, please. No, she definitely went into the box. We were watching her pretty closely. Fair enough, I guess. Sealed shut and locked. Bill, were you focused on the box the whole time? Not by choice. I had to wait the whole time. I certainly would have noticed if she came back out. What part of the box were you watching? Well, the front of it. And you're positive the door was locked, right? I couldn't open it, that's for sure. Thank you, Bill. Hold it. I could be sure the box was really empty. Maybe there's a secret compartment that you hid tools inside of. Nope, no hidden compartments. A likely story. How in the world could that be possible? Magic, of course. Magic isn't real. Yes, it is. You take that back. If you really could do magic, how come you failed to do the trick? Well, I hadn't practiced enough, so I wasn't able to perform it. Smack. Admit it. You're not a real magician. Slam. Detective! Detective, what the fuck? Alright, everybody calm down. Just continue with your statement, Miss Card. Or, well... Hold it. So if you couldn't do the trick, how'd you get out of the box? I had to bang and scream on the cabinet to get them to unlock it and let me out. It was pretty awkward. She was so insistent that we had to see the trick. We just waited over 10 minutes while she struggled inside that there before she gave up. That's an interesting number. I tried telling her to speed it along because I was in a hurry, but she just ignored me and kept trying. I'm just glad she gave up when she did. How do you know how long it took? I was in a rush to get to City Hall, so I was checking the time every second until she came out. I wanted to head out the moment she finished. Come to think of it, why were you in such a rush to leave that day? There was a public hearing for the Building Inspection Commission on new building standards. I wanted to make sure none of the new regulations applied to the Klaus orphanage. If I had to update the building, I wanted to know as soon as possible. They have that at City Hall? Come on, Justy, Azure City has public hearings at least once a month, usually more. It's common knowledge. I don't suppose any of those hearings would be very interesting to me. Not unless they start doing art workshops. That is a very interesting number to just bury in there. Because that... Specifically that 10 minutes and that 1:45 and that 10 minutes was very intentional on her part. Objection. Smack. Actually, there was a way you could escape. There was a false panel at the back you could exit through. What's the secret to your little trick? Stop ruining the magic. I could see that she had a secret way out of the box. However, we've forgotten where in the room the cabinet was. It was right up against a wall, and if she did escape, she'd be stuck. What if the cabinet wasn't flush with the wall at that time? Then how would she leave the room? The only exit is the door, where she would have been spotted. Unless you're about to propose, she used magic to leave the room as well. Did you, Annie? If you pick a card, I'll tell you. Not that again. This is going nowhere. That panel is the only way she could have left without being seen. Must be a way. I just gotta think. Well, obviously. Magic. Smack. What's magic? She escaped the room using her magical powers. Finally, someone who believes in my magical abilities. You're really funny, Justina. Hey, don't make fun of me. Justy, do you need to take a break? You're feeling out of it. I can do this myself. No, I can handle it. It won't happen again. It will sound magic. Could have moved the box. What if she had moved the box beforehand? After all, it's been a month. We have no way of knowing it was in the same spot as it is now. Bill, do you remember where in the room the cabinet was? Not really. It tends to move her furniture around a lot, so it's hard to keep up. But Justina could have a point. Just have to show an area where she could have put the box that would allow her to leave unseen. The cabinet could have been. Must be by the window in presenting evidence here. Take that. There's exactly one spot the cabinet could have been that would allow Annie to enter and exit the room unseen. Ding, 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 ding. And that place is the window. Think about it. The cabinet would have blocked their view. You'd slip out of the back of the cabinet, through the window, and to the garage. Then when she was done, she simply snuck back in and pretended like her trick failed. The trick failing is also a convenient cover. And if the cabinet was placed in front of the window, how do you explain the rope around her hands? You couldn't just open it and jump out while tied up. It's obvious, isn't it? She really was able to untie her bindings. Her trick worked, just not in the way anyone expected. Annie, tell them how your trick really works. I can't do that. But she never reveals. How do you escape the bindings? Supposed to have someone purposely tie the rope in such a way that I could slip my hands out. Thought I was good enough to get out of the rope anyways, but I failed. Ah, yes. And there you go. Well, it is possible for her to escape the bindings. Obviously, Anton was not in on it. She'd only do so if... Oops. Oh, Bill... I keep getting them backwards. Bill tied it and Anton verified it. She'd only do so if Bill had purposely tied the rope in a way that enabled it. Bill, did you do such a thing? No. There you have it. Unless you want to claim the box has a hidden blade inside, Annie couldn't untie herself. Drat, she's gonna fight me tooth and nail on every single detail of this. That's the case. Let's hear Annie's statement on the matter. You really don't know when to give up, do you? I didn't come this far just to give up when we are so close. This case is dead in the water. I want to sink with it. If the detective's up for it, so am I. That's my girl. Go ahead, then. Waste our time even more. You're supposed to help me. Don't encourage them. Let them flounder. They can't prove any of this. Fine, but this is the last time. The final act. The impossible escape. There's no way I could have escaped that rope alone. Is there really no way? Maybe there's something in the cabinet we haven't found yet. I want to check. Entangled, frayed rope. There's something in the cabinet we haven't found yet. So I think we could... Oh no, you don't. If you can't prove this, then you should have let my client... Then you should let my client go now. Fine, I'll stick with what I already know. For what it's worth, I checked inside of that box before she entered. I can attest that it was completely empty. Hold it. Can you tell me how your hands were tied? I had both arms behind my back, and my wrists were both bound together. Tightly together. It was so tight I couldn't use my hands whatsoever. It's safe to say that unless someone else helped her, she wouldn't be able to escape the box, or bindings. I wonder, is it possible that someone helped her? Well, that's an interesting thought to plant in my head. Hold it. Hold it. Bill, did you make sure she didn't have anything on her? Any kind of tools or blades? I did, yeah. She had nothing on her. I can't see any way she could have cut the rope after she entered the box. I wonder. Okay, this is just the Phoenix fight. We propose all the options and you pick the one that you can prove. The way she could have cut the rope. If I did cut the rope, it would be too short for me to tie my hands again. Hold it. Maybe you were able to tie the rope back together again. No way. She handed me the rope when she was done. Looked like it had only been cut once, when Anton cut her free. I would have noticed if she reused the same rope. Speaking of which, were you able to confirm that the rope was still tied the same way? Anton cut it pretty soon after she came out. Didn't have a chance to look. She was tied up with your knot. What could have come out with any knot? Well, since you just laid it out like that, giving me a big flashing button that says, "Here's the thing." Could have gotten that rope from anywhere. Maybe hid it somewhere on the property. Maybe she escaped with magic. As long as we're throwing out conjecture, anything is possible. Let's face it, Annie is innocent. Unless you can show me where she found this hypothetical rope, you've got nothing. You're so confident in your little hypothesis, let's take it to a court and see what a jury thinks. I wonder, is there a place you could have found rope? Detective, what now? She has a point, right? There's no way she could untie herself or cut the rope. Is this it? Not so fast, Justy. We're not going to give up yet. All we need to do is think a little outside the box a little. Or in this case, the cabinet. Think. Think, Justy. There's got to be some clue that Annie left behind that points to the real culprit of this case. That's a lot of pressure to throw on me. I'm only a clerk. And you're not just a clerk. You're a certified investigating pro. I believe in you, Justy. Think, Justine. Literally. I was just watching that show earlier. Think, Justina. Think. Well, here's the big flashing button that says present me. Objection. Smack. Silent smack. Actually, Annie, there was extra rope lying around. And that keeps a box of rope in the garage. It just so happens to be the place you were going to anyways. Yeah. Spam. This is ridiculous. How can you prove any of that? You know, something was bothering me since I found that box. It was full of short pieces of frayed, tangled rope. They would have been completely useless. The way the rope looked, it was almost as if it came from someone cutting up knotted rope. That doesn't prove anything. The rope could have come from anywhere. Hang on, I'm not done. Meg also said something else that was interesting. It was supposed to be a long spool of rope inside, but when we looked, it was missing. Almost as if someone took it. Smack! I know exactly who that person was. Slam! Then how do you explain how Annie got the rope off in the first place? As already explained, it was impossible for her to untie herself. It all comes down to this. Final piece of the puzzle. How did Annie escape the bindings? Tangled and frayed. Which means she left it in there after she had nothing. Meg knows her car. Annie knows her cars. We after, right? She escaped the box first. I need to explain how she was able to exit with her hands tied. I also need to show a way she could have freed herself while outside. Oh. Oh boy. I don't think that's right. Let me think. It's an answer. Let me try again. While in the box, she needs somebody to cut herself loose. Oh, the rope is frayed. Oh, it's not that. That room helped her. Yeah, we don't have anything in the evidence that would point to. Exit with our hands tied. Okay, this is indeed the final puzzle, isn't it? Oh boy. See, that's why when you get stuck, you have to sit back and think about it. I completely forgot. Yeah, the prompt is right here. Someone in that room helped her present evidence. We have the opportunity. Take that. Smack. Anton was the last person to check Annie's bindings before she entered the box. He also had a knife on him, as we established. Meaning, got the rope before Annie entered the box. Anton? What are you... That doesn't... It's obvious the two of them were working together. That's ridiculous. You can't prove any of this. You can certainly pay Anton a visit and see what he tells us, and Anton will throw you under the bus. We only need one of you to talk. So how much do you trust him to keep his mouth shut? Detective, I don't understand. Why would Annie attack me? She has no reason to. Actually, Bill, I know exactly why. Annie wants to sell. She wanted money. She wanted the orphanage gone, as much as I hate to admit it. I think she wanted to scare you. She wanted you to move the orphanage to a new location, so she set up this plan with Anton to make it happen. After all, Anton was pretty interested in buying it. The motel isn't what matters. It's the land it sits on. Situated on a property gold mine. That land could be put to much better use. That whole area ought to be transformed to new luxury townhouses and condos. A plethora of Azure City's finest would love nothing more than to settle their families right next to Whitehall. That's not... I wanted him out so badly, why didn't I just evict him? I am his landlord, after all. Come on, we both know that wasn't possible. This explains why. Take that. Your contract was ironclad. There's no way they could force you to leave. You'd have to do so willingly. Isn't that funny? How we found our true villain of this game, Anton. We found our true villain, Anton. Oh, we don't have the... We never used the, info we got from Owen. Who, got voted out by Anton from the charity. Anton took over the charity. Anton starts trying to force Bill out of that property, so Anton could take it over and turn it into real estate. Their plan was to either scare you into leaving or kill you. What? Ready to talk yet, Annie? Or should we go pay Anton a visit now? If you talk first, it will make your life a whole lot easier. Uh-oh. She's gonna go. Wah! Pocket sand. Good performer knows when to throw in the cards. Fine. I confess. Andy, why? I don't understand. We worked together for 5 years. You helped raise the kids as your own. If you just decided to move out, I would have done everything to help. You wouldn't do it. You're too stubborn for it. Didn't have another choice. But if I scared you and the kids, you'd leave. What way to do so than have you get hurt? Funny thing is, it worked. It worked? After the car accident, the kids were scared, so I agreed to the move. Thought Meg caused it. I played along with the story to keep her safe. For a long time, that motel was no place to raise children. A more conventional home would be better. That was the straw to break my back. So I agreed to move further away, on the condition that the students could at least finish their semester in May. I see. So then why did you want him to move? I first inherited the motel, I had a few offers to buy it. But then what? They have that money for a few years and then go have a real job? At the time I had no goal, no motivation. Bill offered something no one else could, a chance to do some good. So I took it. I figured that even if I died, at least I helped some kids had a better life. And then I discovered stage magic. I had something I was not only good at, but something I wanted to do. Then I was trapped in a place I could no longer sell. I needed money more than ever to perform my magic around the world. It's selfish. That's when Anton came to me and offered me a way out. Gave me the deal of a lifetime. He'd buy the property for enough money that I could finally pursue my dream. All I had to do was get Bill to sell. We did not agree to any of that. If Anton agreed to buy it, he was going to round us completely. Can't make promises like that without informing me. He said it was prime, real estate. We just need Bill gone. Do you have any idea what the hell you two were doing? The public finds out about this. It would ruin you bank investments. How was that what she's worried about most? Bill could have died. Why? Why didn't you tell me what was going on? There had to be a better way. I would have paid the same amount. I would have sold you the whole place. But you couldn't. I had no choice. I can't believe this, Annie. What are the kids going to think? Would you really look Meg in the eyes and tell her that your career was worth more than my life? Yeah, answer that. I took the calculated risk that you'd be driving too slow for it to be dangerous. His life isn't a... There we go. There we go. His life isn't a calculated risk. She does care. I think I defended you. I believed in you. You know something, Ferris? I never liked you. You act all high and mighty like everything in life is fair. If you stopped working right now, where would you be? Living up in a mansion, doing whatever you want. If I had your money, I could be free to live my life however I want. Oh, okay, now you're spitting. And would it be worth it? Knowing that it comes at the cost of these kids' homes. Sophie's spitting back. Bill would have found another place. I was done worrying about other people for a change. I think we heard enough. Let's finish this case up. After we finalized her confession, Annie was taken away. Ferris left with another word. She looked even angrier than usual. She has a lot of talking to do. A lot of talking to do. Let's see, we've had 1, 2, 3, 4 culprits now. And Annie is arguably the only unsympathetic one. Justy, we did it. Really did it. Come here. Hug. Ah! Take that. Is this a hug or is she trying to kill me? Oh, that's sweet. We got a little CG. That's precious. We did it. We solved the case. You did it. I'm so proud of you. Light fading. Lungs failing. Prime suplex position. You okay? You okay over there, Miss Assistant? You're turning pretty red. Can't breathe. Help. Sorry, I guess I went a little overboard. More than a little. I want to be the first to say. Great work, both of you. You solved 2 cases in a single day. I'm pretty impressed with how you two did there. You make for a great team. I think I may have to give you my assistant, Sophie. I think I'm ready to just be a clerk again. I don't think I can keep doing this. But you're really good at this. You can't stop now. Hey, why don't we go take Zephyr for a victory lap after this? We can celebrate properly then. Please not Zephyr again! I can't believe it. Annie, she could have killed me. All over the orphanage, no less. And less than that, it was all over money. Did the orphanage just mean nothing to her? I think she would throw it all away. Come on, Bill, you know that ain't true. Actually, I know for a fact that isn't true. I can prove it. It's proof that Annie really did care about the orphanage's residents. Oh, the car? If it wasn't for Annie, Meg would have never found her true passion in life. She taught Meg everything she knew about working with machinery. Plus, she helped Meg completely rebuild a car. I don't believe that was all for nothing. I think she really did value the orphanage, and you too. I think she felt stuck. That made her desperate. Thank you. Justina, was it? Sorry for causing you all so much trouble. And Ernest, I'll talk to you later, Bill. I have a lot to say to you in private. Anyways, what are you doing here still, Detective? I thought you'd be home by now. Detective never rests until this work is done. Besides, there's one more thing we need to take care of. Why don't you go wait inside? I'll be right back. Oh? Chandra? Any idea what's going on? One way to find out. Hey, Chandra. Oh, hey. Anna, what's this about? Well, you two were the ones who kickstarted this sprawling affair. We wanted to give you a little update. We solved the embezzlement case. One explanation later. Ah! Wow! So the Eubanks didn't take the money. I guess I may have jumped the gun. And cheer up, Chandra. It's thanks to us the orphanage is getting it all its money. Hey, don't be too proud of yourselves. You still committed a crime. So what now? We can certainly put in a good word with the prosecutor. As short-sighted as your robbery was, it did help us uncover the real crime. If only I hadn't been caught. Decepted, Hannah. We lost. But thanks for trying to cover for me. Anytime, partner. Next time I'll take the truth to my grave. Yeah, how romantic. Please don't. You gave me enough of a headache last time. Afterwards, Sophie and I went out to celebrate our victory. Yeah! As expected, I got completely swamped in paperwork the next day. Sue said I had to do double the work to make up for my little adventure. I told her I was finally ready to retire from my detective work. And then a new case popped up and I was caught on bond once again. So much for retirement. And a case 3. Yeah! Swiftly solved. Love that. Alright. Okay. I am very curious to see where this goes. That was way more than I expected, isn't it? Or case 3. That was great. God, that was a delightful ending. I don't know. I'm still a little. I don't know how I feel about Annie's, but pardon it. But you could think of it like this, I suppose. Annie really did enjoy helping to raise the kids. And you could think of it as perhaps Anton doing his things, put the bug in her ear that turned her into what she became when we had her in the interrogation room there. Anton put the bug in her ear that slowly convinced her to take that step, that it was the right thing to do. Right. So let's go. All right. Next time we'll see where the heck this is gonna go. What brings Justina out of retirement? Will we get more adorable little shenanigans with our speedy detective and her trusty sidekick? Are we officially her sidekick? Or something more? We'll see next time. I know I'm going in hard on that, but it's at this point Sophie is really going in hard herself. It can't not be. It can't not be. It can't not be. She's dropping so many little tidbits that have to be. That can't not be taken that way, right? Tell me I'm not the only one who sees this vision here. And the fact that they gave us that CG at the end of this case. The vision's there. The vision's there, right? Yes. Love that for them.